Hurricane Helene left a path of destruction across western North Carolina. Entire communities washed away, families displaced, and lives forever altered. The rolling hills and valleys that once defined the beauty of these rural towns became obstacles to the very survival of the people who lived there. Bridges collapsed, roads were erased, and essential infrastructure was lost in an instant. Inside the immediate aftermath, seniors and assisted living facilities faced unimaginable danger. Floodwaters surged into buildings, cutting access off to food, clean water, and medical care. The elderly, some bedridden, others struggling with dementia, were left stranded as conditions deteriorated. Evacuations by helicopter became the only option. Within just 48 hours, 3 full assisted living communities were completely emptied, their residents airlifted to safety in a coordinated effort that required precision, speed, and determination. Amid the chaos, not one life was lost, but survival was just the beginning. The crisis did not end when the floodwaters receded. What Helene left behind was equally devastating. Massive mudflies reshaped entire regions. Homes were buried under rock and debris, and a fractured infrastructure made very early recovery impossible. The communities that were already struggling before the storm were now on the brink of collapse. For seniors, the struggle had only deepened. Many who were evacuated found themselves placed in makeshift shelters, temporary housing, or, in the worst cases, stuck in limbo with no clear path to permanent housing. Some have been forced to relocate far from their communities, leaving behind their support systems and familiar surroundings. Others are still in unstable conditions, waiting for assistance that seems endlessly delayed. Despite pledges of support, FEMA's response has been sluggish at best. Rural towns, where the fire chief might also be the town manager and the local pastor, were left without clear guidance on how to access federal aid. Bureaucratic hurdles have stalled rebuilding efforts, and in many cases, funding remains tied up in paperwork. While larger metropolitan areas saw quicker responses, these mountain communities, already isolated by geography, have been left to fend for themselves. With no time to wait, Affordable Senior Housing Foundation, along with ALG Senior, and an army of volunteers stepped in to fill the void. We coordinated emergency housing solutions, ensured that displaced seniors had access to medical care, safe accommodations, and basic necessities. We worked with local clinics to provide medications when supplies were lost. We fought to prevent seniors from slipping through the cracks of a broken disaster relief system. But the challenges remain. Water solutions are contaminated, forcing residents to rely on bottled water, filtered water for months on end. Basic utilities are unreliable. And for those in remote areas, access to transportation is still a daily struggle. For seniors who depend on caregivers, the instability of the region has made receiving consistent care nearly impossible. Yet amid the destruction, resilience has shown through. Volunteers, neighbors, and first responders have refused to let these communities fall apart. Local businesses, many of which were themselves affected, have donated food, supply, and labor to help rebuild. Ordinary people have stepped up in extraordinary ways, clearing debris, delivering medicine, and offering the comfort of a helping hand. The spirit of Western North Carolina is unbreakable. This is more than just a recovery effort. It's a fight for dignity, stability, and the right to age with security. The seniors cannot be an afterthought in a disaster response. And the Affordable Senior Housing Foundation and ALG Senior is committed to leading this charge. But we need partners, investors, and policymakers to take action. These communities need permanent housing solutions, infrastructure repairs, and sustainable water access. The system needs policy changes that ensure disaster response efforts prioritize vulnerable populations, especially seniors who rely on critical care services.